Okay, but it's not letting me. I've asked if I can record it. And
Yeah, because it's my Zoom, so I'm gonna record and send this to you.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So,
thank you. Amazing. So shall we? Do you want me to sort of go through a little bit about what it is, really? First of all,
please. That would be lovely.
Okay. So the human blueprint. Basically, I've studied quantum physics for the last sort of 25 years, really, starting on the smallest, minuscule little bit of information, which totally was confusing but curious at the same time. And then over the years, it's just fascinated me with the energies that we have and how we are magnets to certain vibrations and frequencies. So I then sort of went through the process of looking at sacred geometry and how numbers work and all that sort of thing, and discovered this system that was based on sacred geometry. So the vibration of the numbers that we're born with are actually the numbers of the universe between 1 and 9, and we have a compilation of those. Some people have all 8 with a 9th influence. Some people only have 3 of the 9 placed in strategic places, but they've got 3 of them or 2 of them or whatever. And so that kind of looked to me quite interesting. I thought, oh, how is this going to work? And when I sort of trained on it, it was just blew my mind. It really blew my mind to the point that I've never experienced anything to the level that this kind of was giving back as a feedback, just based on one question: what is your date of birth? Because most things will ask you lots of questions. Numerology will you need to know certain your birth name and this, that, and that, and the other, and different things to get the accuracy. And astrology, you need to know really the time you were born to be more accurate, and places of birth. So this has numerology and astrology in it, but it is predominantly based on sacred geometry. And so I kind of trained in it about 9 years ago now, and really kind of looked at the ins and outs of how it was working, and have developed it even further from my training. Because the guy who trained me, he's retired now. He was 80 when he was training me. He was reluctant to do it because he didn't want to travel to come and meet me, even though I was going to go to meet him. And but in the end, based on my date of birth, he said I'd be the last person that he would train, and he did me this one-to-one training, intense training. So basically what it does, it looks at the blueprints that we're born with, which is just based on your date of birth. And within that date of birth, as we know, it's numbers. They crunch down to a single number, which is similar to numerology. But then I look at the pattern that is formed within your blueprint, and how are you using that to your most effective, really, and your most potential. And sometimes when we're kind of working with these vibrational frequencies, I see a pattern that people are tending to gear towards based on, and it's possible from the age of 0 to 7, when we're programmed with the subconscious mind. On that theta state, we have that recorded state, which then sort of is our foundations to what we attach ourselves to based on other people's belief systems and things like that. So I noticed that these patterns were being created in people when I was reading their blueprint, and they were not aligned with their actual blueprint. They'd been taken away based on other people's energy, pulling them in one direction or the other direction. And most people that I've looked and read the blueprints for, their inner child, let's say, the truest potential for your destiny path, really what you're really supposed to be doing, was 9 times out of 10 suppressed. And it got locked away in what I call a Pandora's box, and there was a little knock on the door that you could hear, but never really fulfilled what they were truly meant to be doing. So with the blueprint, like I said, what I look at is what your true potential is, how you're using it, and all the other vibrational frequencies that are around you that you have access to that you may not be using to your advantage. Okay, so have you got any questions?
No, I'm super fascinated about that, and yeah, to see what you're gonna do. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so first thing, all I need from you really is your date of birth. So just your date of birth is what I need.
16 March.
16, 16?
Yeah, 16, March 1982.
1982. Okay, so like I said, we're born, there's 9 energies that are available in the universe. I mean, I don't know what you do yet, but when we get through this, afterwards I start asking the questions, but the first part I'll just need to know your date of birth and I'll read your blueprint to you. But basically, the universe, they say there's 9 energies really around the universe. The number 9 is very, very important in everything that we see that's around us, and this particular system works with those 9 energies. Like I said, we have, out of those 9, 8 of them which we have actually in our blueprint, and then we have the other one which is an influence, so we can have access to something that we may not possess in our blueprint, or we may have it but it's an added bonus we've got. This is an influence. And so out of those 8, so let's say we've got 8 energies, or sometimes I say cards because tarot readers will read your cards, and based on that it's a bit like the hand you've been dealt in life. Okay, so either way, energy or cards. But let's just say, for instance, that everybody has 8 cards, and out of those 8 you would need to have the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you'll be missing one, but it could be an influence. Some people actually have 2 1s, 2 2s, 3 5s, and so the 8 gets mixed up with the same energy vibration, which means if you're missing a number vibrationally, that means that you're I don't like to use the word sort of lacking in it, because it's all positive what I do, but you're kind of may struggle or find things a bit more difficult to use when you need that. So let's suppose it's articulation. Somebody needs to be able to articulate their words. If their vibrational energy doesn't possess that articulation code, they would struggle getting the point across, and they're not the natural presenters. That's what it means. Doesn't mean that you can't articulate, but you would work harder on that particular energy because you don't possess it, or you would wait for the day when it comes into your cycle anyway, because we get them every day, the different energies that we can tap into. So for your blueprint, you've actually got, out of the 8 or the 9, you've been given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those with an influence of an extra one. So your influence isn't the same. So you've got you can tap into 6 of the energies really. So let's have a look what you've been given. The way it works, I look at your outer world and then I look at your inner world. Okay, the outer world I look at because it's basically to do with our personality, social environment, how we are in the grand scheme of things, your life path and your lesson in life. And most of the time that is what it's all attached to the outer part of it. It's not really who we are, but it's what we have access to and what we can be using on a daily basis. So personality wise, you were given the energy of the it's kind of the spiritual energy, to be fair. So first meeting, you will have a spiritual air about you. You can be quite elusive, a bit aloof as well. It's quite dignified number, and quite arty as well. We've got that there. Sometimes though, if somebody, depending on who you're meeting for the first time, because of the energy that surrounds it, it's more of an iceberg. So people would need to melt you really sometimes as well to be able to get really into who you really are. And sometimes to other people it can be perceived as being a bit arrogant, but you're not. It's just that you have that thing, it's an intuitive energy, to be fair. So it's not there to be someone to be able to peer behind who you really are straight on that very first meeting. So that's the energy that you have available to you on your personality. So the next we're looking at is the social consciousness. So in the social environment, as we know in life, we can be in a social environment with friends, enemies, frenemies, acquaintances, different types. So you're not always with your mates and your family, whatever people that you know. And so therefore this particular energy, in more particular than others, you can be using quite a lot of different parts of it, purely because we don't know who we're going to be meeting. On the grand scheme of things, your energy is the organizer. So in a social environment, you should be quite good at organizing. You've been given that energy twice, so I would say definitely you should be definitely somebody who's very good at organising. If the party needs organising for your mates, I think you'd be the better one to go to, unless someone else has got the same energy. But it can be a bit Sergeant Majory as well. So the tone that it creates has a bit of a, you know, because you can do things and you can organise things, the Sergeant Major can come in and be a bit more abrasive sometimes, maybe. But friends will know that's who you are and not find it in any way. But some people can say, "Oh, you know, what are you saying it like that for?" But you'll be thinking, I only said it, you know, and it's just a tone that you actually have.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking at your global. So on the grand scheme of things, this is how you are generally, really, or the energy that you have available to you, and it's the carer. Okay, so on the grand scheme of things, you've been given the nurturer and the caregiver energy. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't, sometimes people go into that as a career thinking that is their career, because the energy on the grand scheme of things is quite powerful. It's not always necessarily the career path that should be chosen, but that just means people are more on the outer world than really on the true inner self, what that wants them to do. But that's what you've been given. So people can come to you, kind of, I'd see a lot coming to you for something, because you've got your spiritual personality going on. You've got an organisation, an organised kind of feeling around you socially, but then you've also got this caring and nurturing side to you on the grand scheme of things. So I can imagine people will be coming to you for some kind of help at some point in your life, throughout your life, and you're there to give it because you can. Now, that's the day, the month, and the year that you've been born. Okay, so now we're going to look at the other two elements that are really on the external part of you. And that is your life path. So the life path that we have is basically what we have coming to us in our life, whether we like it or not. And it's just directed to you in a constant stream. So two ways we look at things: we either act or we react. If you react to what's coming to you throughout your life and that energy vibration, you will get the reactive traits going along with it. If you act and, you know, work with it, you will get the active traits that go along with it. Again, when I said before, you've been given the energy twice. You've been given the life path of organized. So the universe is being kind to you. It wants you to have an organized life, and it's trying to bring an abundance to you as well, because it also brings in abundance, that particular energy. So it's trying to bring abundance. Now, when I say try, if you go in reactively, you can obviously get the reactive traits, which, as I mentioned, which means you don't get an abundance of the good stuff, you get an abundance of the stuff that you may not want. Mm-hmm. If you act actively, you will get an abundance of all the stuff that's needed and required to keep your energy in that. And
can you give me an example of this active, and how can I tap into this more?
Yeah, what I will do when we go through the reading, I'll give you the active and the reactive traits of a couple of the energies that you've been given that you can use. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now, so that's the outer world, apart from the last one, which is now your lesson in life. Okay. So lessons in life are there to give us this lesson as what we need individually to learn. There are only 9, as are there, I said, there are only 9 of each number. Somebody can have the exact same lesson in life as you, but be using it for a different lesson and for a different particle of that lesson. But basically it emanates the energy of learning to believe in oneself. Okay, because you've been given a talent and a gift, as we all have, and sometimes this energy will kind of give you a lack of confidence sometimes. Now, with me saying that, there's a slight contradiction within your blueprint, because in one hand, your lesson in life is to learn to believe in yourself and to be full of confidence. But on the other hand, you've got in your soul, which is quite a confident energy. Okay, so sometimes you can be so confident, but then other times there'll be things that will make you question certain things because you've been given that slight contradiction, mainly because it's your lesson in life. Okay, we'll work through that in a moment, but this is just giving you the tools at the minute. So that's what your lesson in life is. So that's your outer world. Now let's have a look at your inner world. Now the inner Carolina. Okay. So, like I mentioned, your soul and the energy that you've been given in your lesson in life are the same. One, though, is a lesson, and the other is your soul, the way you should be and the way you need to work with the energy. It is what we call the bossy soul. Okay, so it's got the energy of, because it's quite a good control card, it's quite a good controlled energy in which can come across a little bit bossy to certain people depending on the energy that's connecting with you, but it's very, very, very good at articulation. So when I mentioned earlier some people don't have that energy, you've got that twice. And so basically you are somebody who needs to speak and to use the voice. And why I say that for you in particular, because everybody who's got an inner soul that's got that energy may not have what I can see next to your energy, which means to use it and communicate. Okay, you have been given the energy to communicate your voice at the same time. So whatever it is you do in your life, I'm hoping when we get to the last energy that you have and I start to ask you some questions, that you're using it to that advantage, because that tells me a lot. So you've been given the energy of somebody who should be in control of themselves, somebody who defends the weak as well, doesn't like to see people who are, you know, needing things. You like to help people quite a lot, and you will always be magnets for those people who need you, and you end up being their crutch basically. You have to be mindful of that people don't then draw all your energy from you, because as we know, or as you may not know, but we do in life, we are here as all teachers. We're all learning from each other, and we're not supposed to be taking people constantly so they don't ever learn for themselves. With the energy that you possess within your soul, there is a tendency to be holding on to them a bit too long, and therefore they don't tend to go and find out what they can do for themselves all the time, because they'll always need you, because you can do it quite well. Okay, so they can, oh, why should I do it myself when, you know, you're helping me? So that's the energy that you've been given in your soul. So now we're going to look at your inner child. Now the inner child, like I said, is 9 times out of 10 is suppressed. But you know, if we're looking at 100 people, you've got 1 person that can do it. If you're looking at 1,000 people, you've got 10, and blah blah blah. So you know, it's general. Communication. This is what you've been given in your inner child, which is your purpose in life. You need to communicate something to people. That's what your gift is to be able to communicate. But you not only have the ability to communicate, you can articulate that extremely well as well, or you should be able to if you're using it correctly. It also is an inventive energy as well. It's highly intelligent, so you should be somebody who's highly intelligent. You've been given a lot of very, very high or higher self intuition. So you should be using that if you're not. And like I said, we'll go back in a minute to see what you're doing. But that's what I'm seeing. I see somebody who's quite spiritual. I see somebody who has got a very good articulation, who needs to communicate that. But also now with the sense of spirit that you've been given, I see you need to do that in more of a collective, in a like a social type of environment, or in a holistic environment, or whatever, because that's the energy that you're given on the sense of spirit as well. And the sense of spirit can take you off partying too much, but it's trying to keep that balance as well. So you have that sociable side to you because of the way you do things, but it's also a charismatic. So you should be, I think you're somebody who's quite charismatic, which gives me, again, people can be drawn into you. Just need to be mindful that then you're not, like I said, they're going to be that crutch and end up having to not service as many people as you should be servicing. I don't know why I'm saying that, because I'll find out in a minute. Then the influence that you have, you have a influence of integrity, but it also can be used in the entertainment world. So I've got that there as well, or entertainment around you in some shape or form. Doesn't mean to say that you're an entertainer, but you have access to being having that around you in some way. So we can have a look at that. So there's your energy, that's your blueprint, and they're the 8th and the 9th, with the 9th one being the actual influence. So this is the point where now I ask you, what is it that you do?
You know, it's quite interesting to listen to you, because actually last year I did transit. So I was studying actually accountancy for many years. And when my brother committed suicide 4.5 years ago, this was for me a really huge punch, because I felt like I died with him on so many levels. But at the same time, looking back at the time now, I see my wake-up call there. This is when I actually went into spirituality, actually personal growth, and started actually reconnecting back myself with my soul and my body. And I started failing my exam, not enjoying my accountancy, and finding my way. And now what? I know that something is shifted a lot. And now what I'm supposed to do? I've studied so many years the accountancy, and I felt like my soul is absolutely dead behind the screen with the shallow talk at office. I said I cannot do it any longer. So basically I was doing different personal growth courses, and last year, January, I was manifesting and asking universe, please show me what I'm supposed to do in this life. I already 2016 felt the call that I need to do something with people, and I knew that something coaching, teaching, something this along the line. Some speaking as well was coming along, but I didn't know where this is going. And last year, actually, I found I had huge call to go for a healing course. And when I entered the room, I felt, okay, I'm home. And I started actually my healing journey. I mean, first, of course, I was doing healing my life, myself, my body, all the beliefs and everything. But also I started helping people to heal their limiting beliefs or programs, you know, shifting the programs, releasing any traumas and everything. So actually now I am actually doing healing, especially theta healing, energy healing. And I can see last few months, I can see that the speaking is coming out constantly. I can feel like I need to speak out, but I still have blockages that what I see, I just like people constantly telling me, you need to market yourself, you need to go on Facebook and do live stream. And I feel like this is not my energy, at least it's not my energy now. But I do not have any issues like if I have people in front of me, or like I'm sitting with you and we talking and we working on you, I can talk and talk for hours. I think the problem is still like social media and everything. I feel like it's not my energy, and I'm still seeking that. I want to share what I do with more people, but I am still on, and actually this month is really showing me, and I'm trying to really step back and not pushing this energy, not being desperate. It's just like really show me how I supposed to attract this client, how I supposed to go there and inspire people. So it's an amazing journey, you know. So actually what you said is the caring, definitely, because I had very abusive childhood. So my father was an alcoholic, so I always was the carer for my younger brother. Actually, I look after even my mom, so I was actually mothering them as well. And then I came to UK alone, and my first job was as a carer, look after old people. Then I ventured to accountancy, but now I'm going back to actually really working with people on different traumas, or different stuff, basically, you know. So it's amazing, like, you know, like yeah, definitely. And people do come to me like for advice and everything.
Okay, so let's look at this now and break that little bit down, what you've said, because that's what I saw before you mentioned, because we went through the blueprint. But I also said to you, your lesson in life was to learn to believe in yourself. Okay, this is when I said there was the contradiction, because your soul is articulation. It is you. Okay, now what happens is with the lesson in life, and this is going to be so fantastic for you, because we can resolve that situation right here and now. Okay, awesome. And that's what I like to do, because at the end of the day, my work is to give people your own power. That's what I do, because it's there, but we're not directing it, or we don't know. And if you don't know something, you don't understand something, then you're not going to be able to use it to its maximum potential. So we're going to retract here now, and we're going to concentrate on that, because that is where you believe your stumbling block is, because you know full well you can articulate. You've just said you can speak with me, you can speak to one-to-one, and you can speak in small groups, whatever. When it comes to doing on a bigger scale and going into the bigger place, on the grand scheme of things, for instance, like social media or whatever, you've got this, you know, there's something that's blocking you. There's something that's telling you, oh, I can't do that.
It's the self-belief, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like I have nothing to give or nothing to offer. And that's why last year was a wake-up call, because I was constantly denying this. And then I spoke one of the business coach, and he's supposed to coach me, and I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know, this is not working. And suddenly we changed the subject, and I focused on him, and I was like talking to him and said, this is what you're supposed to do. Why not? And it's constantly like, and I'm doing healing, and actually this really helped me with my self-confidence, because I can see people are really shifting. But there is still something deep inside, and I can see I'm working still on it, that there is some blockage, that the self-belief, self-doubt.
So, okay, so let's look at the words as well, because I work with words. So there isn't a blockage, actually. There's no blockage. What there is just your lesson in life. Mm-hmm. So let's look at this lesson in life. Because like I said, you were given your soul, which is all about articulation, projection. You've been very good at presentations, and you've been given your inner child, which is to communicate this articulation, okay? Communicate it on every level, not just on your one-to-one and your little groups or whatever. It's communicate. So when we communicate, we need to do it on another level. However, because you were given, your lesson in life is to learn to believe in yourself. That's where there's a slight contradiction. There's a confusion going on within you, thinking, well, you can do it here, but when it comes to that, I can't do it. So you're kind of looking at that as if it's some block. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the way the lesson in life works, and you're going to love this one because you've got a sense of humor. I can see that there. Mm-hmm. In your energy. So the way it works universally, and I can talk to you now, I know that what you're doing, I can talk to you in a way that I know that you're going to understand me now, because mm-hmm. the universe works in the way of energy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now we are all born into this world with a basket full of energy to go away and go and have our experience with that energy. Mm-hmm. And what you're going to do with it. Okay. So thought processes can be our own sabotages, okay? The energy and how we use it can be our own sabotages. Our lesson in life, if it's not learnt, will be a sabotage. So the lesson in life really is not down to us, it's down to the universe that's given us this lesson in life. And depending on how many times I see that in somebody's human blueprint determines how many times they have learnt it or not learnt it in their past life. You've been given it twice. So that means on your last life, you didn't learn it then. So they brought it back to you in this life, okay? If you don't learn it in this life, you will get it in another life. Mm-hmm. And if you don't learn it in that, and because don't forget, we've got eight up here, eight of these to fill up. And this is when you start to see people who are really either very highly stressed people, autistic, or you've got addicts. You know, I look at their blueprints and they've got one lesson in life about 5 times running through because they've not learned it. So each life you're going to get a harder deal because you've got to learn it at some point. And when are you going to learn it? You know, sometimes you've got to go right down into the deepest of deepest to find out what it is you've got to learn, and the universe will show you that. How? It shows you that by bringing everything and everybody into your life to teach you that, okay, in some shape or form. So let's use yours now. So your lesson in life is to learn to believe in yourself. So on one hand, you've got your confidence because that's in your soul. So the universe is saying, right, who can we bring in now to Carolina to make her self-doubt? Oh, okay. That person's got the right energy. Bring them into Carolina. Now, that person's going to make you disbelieve in what you think you can do. straight away, magnet, attached to your energy. Now, because it's your lesson and everybody does the same thing, oh, well, perhaps they're right. And so you start to think about things, you lose your confidence. And over time, and that can start to build up from 0 to 7 when we're programmed in our subconscious mind, like I mentioned before, it can start around about then. You may not even realize it, but that's already now a magnet to that self-disbelief or that sort of lack of confidence, because something could have happened from 0 to 7 in school or with parents that didn't need to do something, but just because they were busy, you're trying to show them something, whatever. Oh, well, I'm just doing this, whatever. That lack of confidence or whatever it is in your childhood, somewhere along the line, that has been instilled now as your pattern, as your wiring to now attach that and attract all the people who are going to teach you that lesson. Parents can remove that at an early age, so that magnetic field does not affect those children as they get older. I'm working with my grandson who's 3 years old to teach him his lesson in life, so he doesn't have that kind of magnet. When we've got it, what do we do with it? We need to understand. So universe is saying she's not going to believe in herself. And you're going to validate that, because you're going to have this self-doubt. So you're not going to go on the social media. You're not going to do the things, the very thing that the universe is trying to teach you. Every time that you do not believe in yourself, the universe will send something or somebody else to validate that for you. It's your show, it's your program, okay? So what we have to do is now recognize what it really is. It's only a lesson. It's only a lesson. So now every time a self-doubt comes in, universe has sent me this to test me, to see if I'm going to really believe I can't do this. Well, I'm going to show you, actually, I can do this, because you're going to go into your soul area, which is where the energy is. So you're going to go into your soul and you are going to do it. And the universe goes, oh, wait a minute, she can do it. Wait a minute, she can do it. Well, let's leave her alone for a few weeks and we'll try her again in another few weeks. We'll send another energy. You're going to say, but I know about this. I'm not going to do it. You're going to go back into your soul. You're going to do it, and you're going to override these feelings, because they're only feelings. It's not real. It's not anything that is really blocking you. It's a feeling. So you're going into your soul, because that's where the energy is its most potent, because that's not a lesson you see in your soul. The lesson's only in your outer world. So once you come back into yourself, which is where the energy is and it's potent and it can do anything it wants to do, it can articulate, it can project to the whole world. Once you go back into that energy, you override the lesson. Oh, universe, oh my gosh, she's learned her lesson. So eventually the people and the feelings and the thoughts and the situations start to diminish. So you start not seeing them hardly any time throughout your life, until one day you will get a big humdinger to give you that lesson, to see if you really have learnt the lesson. And if you override that one, that is when that lesson is completed. You do not get any more self-doubts within this life, because you've understood that it was only a lesson in the first place anyway. It wasn't actually a thing that was blocking you in any shape or form. It was your feelings that you've attached to something that has created that self-doubt or the lack of confidence energy to be materialized. Okay, so that is how you would work with that, and to create that energy back into its soul area, which is where it's going to be at its maximum. So you can do that. Words as well will block you. So every time you use the word, well, I can't do that, then that's what will close it down. The energy will just go, well, we can't think of any way, because if she's already said she can't do it, we can't think of a way now because it's you're the controller. Okay, you're the one that's controlling and directing your own show, for instance. You know what I mean? Everything you observe in life is created from your experiences and from how you perceive things and what you're focusing on. So start to change that by now understanding that it was just a lesson in life, and that's what it is. And it's going to take a little bit, because you've got it twice, because there's going to be a bit of a harsher lesson for you because you've got it twice there, but it's not something that can't be removed. It can be removed quite easily, and it's been energetically wise to you, because in your soul area, which is where your control system is, which is matching the same number that's in your lesson in life, just come within, forget about what's going on out there, create from within, and allow that to just go out and do it. Okay, because you can do that. So that's what we're looking at on that field. So let's have a look now over at the life cycle that you're actually in. Every 9 years we have a life cycle. Interesting that you said, you know, from last year was when you decided to make that switch, because energetically wise, that was your year of success and opportunities, and it was open to lots of ideas, and you were more open and receptive to the energy around you that was going to give you that momentum to be able to start doing that. The year before, we had new beginnings, so it's like slight little bits of out of an alignment with you, because technically this light switch, but obviously if you've got things going on, like unfortunately, you know, your brother, which is very, very sad news, and I'm sorry to hear about that. That happened in the life cycle, looking at your particular life cycle, in your life cycle of years endings and achievements. So there was then in 2017, 16, 15, 2014, I have endings and achievements for you. So there's normally something that comes to a sudden end, that's unexpected, that comes in people's lives, or just an ending of something.
Yeah, so 2013 he died.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what happens with our energies. You see, we get that. That was in your year 7 life cycle, which was, let me just have a look, 2013.
So 15 months I had really grieving periods going through. It was tremendous. And then after 15 months, I just said, I have enough. I need to change something in my life and start finally be happy. And this is when I went into really like this self-discovery journey, personal development, spirituality as well.
Yeah. So 2013 on your life cycle, we had wipeout year. So that doesn't surprise me in any shape or form. It's one of probably the worst things that could happen, but it was aligned for you to have that effect in your life, and it's experiences that we have to have, and that's what was aligned at that moment in time. In 2013, we have the 2 numbers that work out, and when you put them together, it causes a complete wipeout. People can get financially burnt out. They can have the burnt out with
it was wiped out completely.
Yeah, that's what happened in 2013. So 2014 was the death of something. So it was the loss, you know. And even though that happened in 13, there's still a grief period.
No, this was still like 14 was still like
it was. Yeah, I can see it. It was a death, sort of like that awful kind of aura around you on that particular 2014.
And I felt like I died on so many levels.
Yeah, I can see it. And it was for the whole 12 months. It was there right throughout your life cycle on that 12 months. And that's why I mentioned 2014 to begin with, because I could see that physically in my mind in 2014. But when I went back, I saw that, you had a wipeout year, and that added then to another year, which is all about stuff, you know, the deaths of things and stuff really taking its toll on you. So I can see that. And then we've got 2015, which was trying to heal you. Okay, so 2015, we had a healing energy, which was trying to heal you, you know, from all the stuff that had gone on. And that takes quite a time to do that. That's not done overnight. And that's a good 12 months that was trying to work through. So whereas normally people would, on those years, let me just have a look at age-wise as well. So you're 35, 36. Okay. So normally when people on those energies that we see on the 8 and the 7-year life cycles that we have, the 8-year life cycle normally is trying to get us to a place where we are starting to think about what we want to do, and we're going to end the stuff that we're not supposed to be doing, and we're going to start to achieve the things that we want to do. Now in your case, this is why I'm saying you've come out of alignment. This is what your particular year, for whatever reason, experience is what I said before. Your particular life cycle that you have there is more about it changed. It didn't allow you to do that. It didn't allow you to get to that place because of those particular energies. So you've come out of an alignment, so you weren't able to prepare. So you've ended up doing that now in your year 2 life cycle, which was last year. And so therefore you're just out of sync. But once you're on the right road, it doesn't really matter too much, because as we know, when we're on our right road, speed is just things just happen just so quickly. Whereas you're on the wrong road, it's endurance, it's long, and everything goes wrong and everything's wrong. So you don't get that speed of light. So but it just means really there's a lot of work that really should be done and needs to be done. And why I'm kind of emphasizing on this is because I can see what's coming around the corner for you. Okay, so this year now, so last year was about doing that, so it was great that you found your purpose and you started to work with that, because this year is about abundance. Okay, so this year is more about whatever you decided to do last year. If you're working with the energy that you're supposed to be working with, and it sounds like you are to me, then now is the time to reap the rewards on that this year. But you've got to be working with your energy. This self-doubt has got to go, and it has to go this side of August, okay? Because we've got a lot of work to do, because come January next year, or August really, technically this year, it can happen, you are going to go around another big, huge corner, which has got a 10-ton truck on its way. Providing you know that it's there, will determine whether you get one over or whether you kind of stand back a little bit and let it go past. Okay, fortunately for you, you've come to me at the right time, because you've got this year now to work with the energy that you've got, and to get as much under your belt and put away for a nest egg, and for concentrating on focusing on what's going to be coming around this corner next year. Because next year, looking at age-wise, you're 35, 36 now, and next year you're sort of like 37-ish, yeah? That is when your midlife crisis appears, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you're in the middle of your life and you're going to die when you're 72, 4, or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. It just means energetically, for whatever reason, and again, it has to go down to your ticket that you've come through onto this planet, this world, this realm with, as experiences. These are the experiences that you're going to have to experience and endure. So reaction is going to make them worse, actively is going to make them a lot better to work with. Fortunately for you, we know now what's going to come around the corner. So it's midlife crisis for you next year and the year after. So about 18 months is going to be a bit of a shake-up. Reason being, because this is now going to test you to see how much and how well you, one, believe in yourself, and how you can be taken off the path that you're on. Can you be moved off this path? This is what the universe is going to say. It needs to know exactly, are you truly believing you're on the right path? We'll find out, because we're going to throw some spanners in the work. We're going to throw some energy around that's going to give you some testing times and some challenging times. We're going to throw a bit of stress the year after. When you think you've got over it, we're going to throw a bit of stress in, because this is midlife crisis years. And anything can happen within those years too. Moving home, relationships, friendships, jobs, all these things can go to work as a change or a challenge. Okay, so how are you reacting to the change or the challenges? Because they will happen. And then the year after, we've got some stress and movement. So it could be stressful, or it could just be movement. So it could be, okay, Carolina now is actually on the right path. You're doing the right thing. From that, because you're in an abundance year, you're going to get so busy. That's going to be a challenge next year for you, or it's going to be a change of direction, so that now you start to change your mindset and learn how to put it into place so you're not physically drained from it. Because if you're doing energy work, you need to make sure that you contain your own energy. So that could be the challenge, which means it's just changing your perceptions, because it's about changing perceptions as well. Do that, that's fine. And then the year after, you're going to get a little bit of stress, or it could just mean that you're going to start moving now into the right direction. You're moving into alignment with what you've been given. So therefore it becomes a movement, not the stress. So because you know now what's coming, I'm sure now you will understand not to get challenged. You would now start to change perceptions. And then when it comes to the year after, not to get stressed, you would start to use that and use the energy to move in the right direction. Sounds to me that you're on the right path. If you've done this now and you've made the decision, you could see your face change when you talked about it. So we know that energetically that is the right thing for you. The communication and this articulation is where I'd like to see more of you working with that energy, because that's your forte. The healing side of it isn't necessarily the forte. The healing side of it will come from mainly your communication, how you're communicating with these people, how you're articulating what they need to know. Because as we know, we talk ourselves into bad health. So someone who's gifted like you, who can communicate that and articulate it, you can give them that language that they need to talk themselves into health. Do you know what I mean? Rather than it being a particular modality. I don't particularly think you need any modalities. I think you just need your own vortex, your own self, to use the articulation, to use that kind of communication, to communicate with people, to get them to self-heal. Really, because
this is exactly what I want to do, to help people to reconnect with their soul and body, and the self-love as well, because like you said, then we actually create and manifesting things like this. So as soon as you come back here, then you can truly take this beautiful self-healing journey as well, so yeah. And I mean, to be honest, like it's interesting to hear what you're saying, because I just thought, okay, this really hard, tough time, like 12, my dad died. 13, my beloved granny and my brother. Then 15, just like pulling myself together. Then 16 is like, what now? And then finding my way. And 17, I found my way. Of course, it's a challenge. And now actually, I gave up my job. I left the country I lived in, the UK. 12 years I lived there. And I've decided to now traveling, basically. So I'm currently in Cyprus and figure it out how I'm gonna take my business to the next level, so I can really work on this. So it's interesting to see. And when you said it's like 18, 19 crisis, my first thought was like, I thought I already had my middle age crisis, because I thought this was honestly like this, when suddenly my job is not working. I am so demotivated. I've changed relationship, I've changed everything, relationship, career, because I moved to healing, healing coaching. I left the country. So for me, this was already, I thought that I had already this crisis. So you're telling me now that I'm going to have another crisis. That is interesting. Or crisis or change, move.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, you see, it's just what happened. And people, because I look at these life paths, and it feels like it's a midlife crisis, but that's not the midlife crisis. And you think, my gosh, if that wasn't a midlife crisis, what's going to come?
Yeah.
The good thing is, once you know about a midlife crisis, and I've proven this because I've had people who come to me who I've caught before the midlife crisis. I've had people who've come to me who are in the midlife crisis, and I've had people come to me who have just come out of the midlife crisis. And those who have come to me before and I've spoken to after, I've sailed through it quite easily, because awareness is key.
Yes.
And it doesn't catch you unaware. So if you're aware now what's coming around that corner, I know I'm telling you there's a 10-ton truck coming around the corner. What you're going to do, you're not going to run across and it's going to hit you. You're going to stop, aren't you? You're going to, oh, wait a minute, there's a 10-ton truck coming. I'm going to wait for that to go past, because I'm not going to get hit by this one. Okay, and that's the beauty of what I do, is because I can see what's coming. Had we not have had the talk, sometimes you see, especially when you've had so many 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then only you've got a reprieve in 2017, you just think you're on your way, and the next minute you're going to get another 10-ton truck.
Yeah.
That could take people seriously, quite depressed, and knock them under, you know. And that's why it's great to have these readings, because now that would never happen. We're looking at this as experiences that you've been given for whatever reason. We don't take it personally. We've been given it. And how do you deal with these experiences? That's what we've got to work out. Is, are you going to let it affect you for the rest of your life, or are you going to deal with each one? That's my experience. Okay, I've had that. Tick that box. I'm not getting that next year. You know, I'm not getting that next lifetime. So you've got to look at it this way, and then just look and track where you're going. We've got to get into that flow state. We've got to get into that vortex within our own self, to be able to stay centered when everything is going around. I heard something quite interesting the other day, was like on a tornado. When a tornado goes spinning round and it's gathering, it can pick up cars, trees and all sorts. But whatever is, it collects in the center when that starts. That can just, when the tornado's gone, it stays intact. that never gets damaged. So if it picked up a house at its first tornado part and that house was in the vortex, right in the center, that house would still be in form. Nothing will have been shifted. No furniture will have been moved. Everything will be in its place. But everything around will be picked up and scattered around and thrown and damaged and correct and you know, completely demolished. So that told me that if our center is in the right place and it's aligned, no matter what goes on in our world with around us, that cannot touch our center, because we've stayed in place.
And actually it's interesting, like when you're saying, because this is exactly what I am on this journey. I feel like I am on the journey. Like before, years ago, I was so reactive, you know, of course things happened and going into this drama, and now I've learned really, like the last few years, like really surround of things and trust that things will happen. And even more now recently, really go within and just not letting go into this drama, this story, or whatever is happening. It's just like, and actually that's why next week I am actually going to Vipassana, the 10 days meditation with monks, just to even go, just quiet myself basically. So, and I can feel like I really actually calling me, I really need to even go more within.
You do, definitely, because that's your powerhouse, you see. Because if you're having your energy take you away from the self-doubt, that shows me your external, because that's on your external part of the world, that's your outer world. Come inside, the inner world has got control, it's got articulation, it's got direction, it's got everything that it needs within that energy to give you what you need to do, which is what you're trying to avoid or allow to affect you in your outer world. So that shows me that you've not really come right into yourself to be able to balance that out, because it's only really and truly, it's a lesson. It's going to be strategically placed within throughout your life to teach you. Have you learned your lesson? Have you come into yourself? Have you come back to who you really are? And more you say, I can't do this, or I don't feel I can do it, and that confidence is not there, the more the universe is saying, you've not come in yet. You've not come in, because the power is in there. You're just not allowing it to come through. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I love it. I love this stuff, you know. Now it's like I am on this journey, and definitely, you know, like I definitely love what you're doing, and this definitely speaks to me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just have a look at one more thing now. So the energy that you've been given, so we have energy that we are male and female. You can be 100% female and have 100% male energy, and 100% male and 100% male and have 100% female energy. Nothing to do with sexual orientation whatsoever. It's more to do with your archetype as to what energy that you have available to you. Are you a leader? Are you somebody that needs to work for somebody? Whatever. You've been given 50-50. So you've got 50% male energy and 50% female energy. That means you are somebody who can go and get what they want out of life, but you can do it in a less aggressive way. You do it more in a feminine way, which is great. It's nice to have 50-50. I think I've got 50-50. So when you want something, you can be very assertive, but you're not going to kill someone to get what you want either. You know, you've got that kind of a bit more passive energy to go with it, which is nice. So that's your energy. So you will be okay in life because you can do things, and you'll get by doing it in the way that's not going to hurt anybody. But sometimes as well, I mean, looking at that, your forcefulness, you see, though, is actually 100% male energy. So yeah, you've got to be looking at this now, as because you can do that in the 50-50, but your forcefulness is 100% male energy. So you are now looking at that screen further down. You've got more dominant of the male energy within you. Okay.
And I can feel it. That's why this, I definitely feel it. This like last 2 months when I quit my job, I could see like my ego freak out and push me even to this male, and they're just like push. What can I do? How can I get people? And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be like that at all. So really this month, the last 2 weeks, I'm like, no, I am going into female energy because I want the flow. I don't want to pull people. I want them to come to me.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to be careful of, because like I said, when I look at further down, you can tap into the female energy, but predominantly when I look, because I need to look at the percentage, you're 100% male energy. really. But you can tap into the female, the 50-50 side. So you are a leader. You are somebody that can get what they want out of life, but he's saying you must try and tap into more of your female energy, because like I said, you can be it can come across too aggressive as an energy, not physically, as an energy. And some people go, whoa, wait a minute, you know, and so you can repel people can move away rather than draw them through. So it's about using that female energy to like you've already corrected it, or correcting it yourself anyway. So but that's what you have there. So so that's your blueprint.
Is it something like you can see what is like just like a short future, like short-term future reading, or can you see, let's say, what is gonna happen, you know, let's say in the next 5-10 years, or on the path I need to go? Because
sorry, go on. What was you saying? Sorry.
No, the reason is like I know kind of that I am not maybe 100% on the right path. I am still like, I'm doing coaching, healing at this moment. I can feel the pull in from my solar plexus is becoming strong. I need to speak. And I'm like, how can I speak? And I can feel, and I can see, like when I speak with people, when I'm working with them, I do inspire them. They really like bright up. But so I know that I need to take this to the next level. But what I am manifesting for this year is like, just put me to the right path and just bring me the flow. I really want to like rest up and have the flow and abundance. No more lessons. I had really like years where I'm like, I really need a break, you know, or something different. I really want to flow, but I feel like still it's like, where should I be guided? Should I be taking, like, it was interesting what you said, because you are second person who told me, because I feel like maybe I should study more like different modality of healing, or maybe go for some coaching course or whatever. But you are second person who said to me, no, you don't need any modality. You know, you just really study what you know, or go within, and in kind of, it's like, again, going within me or something like this. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see you. I think what's happened is, which is what I said at the beginning of the reading, when I see your global consciousness, which is the grand scheme of things, has got the carer and the nurturer, and so people automatically assume, because they have that on the outer world, that that's what they should be doing on the inner world. It isn't necessarily so, and in your case, it isn't. So it's not saying that you shouldn't care or be nurturing, because you're going to have that energy anyway. And people, that's what's going to start, that's the feminine energy that's going to start to draw people into you, okay? But what I see as your blueprint is you are not you're not somebody to be using modalities to heal. Your voice and your communication is what I think you need to be doing, is to articulate that to people, to bring them into their own self-healing. Because what will happen with your energy, you will have a tendency to, people will you'll not let people go in a way, because you've got that nurture, you've got that caring thing, and therefore you can't service the amount of people that you would need to be doing. But the voice and the communication can serve a lot more people, because you can speak to masses than having a couple of people and healing them, and a couple of people and healing them. That's not where I see your energy is at its most potential. I think you're, sorry, go on.
It's interesting what you said, because you know what, when I was doing still my full-time job and doing this healing coaching after work, to like testing, is it me? Is it this what I'm supposed to do? And then when it was the point that, no, this is it, I cannot continue to, because I'm working for 15 hours. And I just gonna burn out. So I quit my job. I left the country and everything. But it was interesting that when I quit everything and I was a few weeks with my mom, I've realized I don't want to do actually one-to-one healing. It's too much my energy consuming. I'm putting so much that suddenly I realized that I thought that I want to do this. Suddenly I said, no, I don't want. I want actually something which I can speak to more people or do this, helping them how to self-heal. And I was thinking maybe I should be doing workshops or retreats or things like this to give them tools so they can start the self-healing journey. So it's interesting, because this is exactly what in my December, when I suddenly realized, oh no, one-to-one, I mean, it's nice to do from time to time, but not like I thought I would be doing, because I said, no, I want some group and working, guiding them on more this way.
Yes, and that's why this is, you see, we already know. What I do is I validate what you already know, really, which is self-doubt is always trying to sabotage and kind of keep it buried under there, because that is what it is. It is. I mean, when I see it, that's what you, and that is where you will be most comfortable. That's where you'll be most successful, because you need to be speaking to the masses. You need to be communicating, because you have that just naturally. And you don't, it won't take your energy from you, because you have it naturally to do that. And definitely the retreat side of it is great, because I can see the way you do things is more, there's people and there's charisma, and so you've got more of the love there that goes through the way you do things. So and it's more social gatherings as well. I think that's where you need to fall into, the social gatherings. You've got the more and more people that you can bring in, and not to be dictatorial, it's to be more, communicate through the social environment and use your energy that way, because it will flow a lot easier by using it. Because when people are happy and they're socializing, they're more relaxed and they're more happy. Then, you know, you've got your moments where you can command stage and you can articulate and you can communicate, but let's make a party of it while we're doing it. That is where I see your type of energy working to its best.
Because there was a time that I was actually thinking combine my healing or self-healing with actually dancing, because I love dancing. And my friends told me that I was born in the wrong country, that I should be born in Latin, because I'm very like passionate, you know, like many times I had feedback that I'm better dancer than Latin people, you know. So I always had this kind of through dancing, on dancing floor, I was like, you know, like fish in the water. And many times I was actually thinking maybe I should combine dancing, because it's also healing, shaking off all the things and everything, making more fun as well. But it still is not like, I really feel that moment, like I know I need to like step back, because I was too much in male energy and actually more listening. And I'm telling you now, I'm this month is all about how to attract people, because I quit my job. And it's like really challenging me. Like one thing is self-belief. It's the communication. How can I find how can I communicate this with people now to bring them to me? Is it social media? Is it, I don't know, YouTube? Is it just going what way? And then by also the one-to-one is only temporary, because I feel like I need to do some groups, like you said. And again, is it this year? Is it this, I don't know. I was thinking maybe by summer I should try to get some like workshop or retreat. And is again, am I ready? Should I be doing? Will somebody come? So on. So it's a journey.
Yeah. And the thing is, you say when you start questioning, are you ready and will people come, they're sabotagers. Okay, doesn't matter. The thing is, once you go into creative mode, people will come. Look at Dubai. The guy who built Dubai is a man-made island, isn't it? And he just said, we'll just build it because people will come. You know, he didn't worry about if they were going to come. It didn't make any difference. He just built it. You build it and people will come. They will.
You know, it was interesting because, you know, in my head, like 2 weeks ago, I was thinking, I'm going to aim, because like next month I'm doing this Vipassana, which I know will really help me to go within for 10 days, just meditating. It will really help me to clear my mind and everything. And I was thinking maybe after that, I should be really thinking and start organizing this retreat or workshop, or however you call the self-healing workshop, mixed with something else. And just one person told me, first you should study more, then you're gonna be ready. It put the doubt, you know, like she planted in me that, or maybe I should not doing this, maybe April, maybe I should postpone this in the next few months. Yeah. So it's interesting to see this.
Okay, so what did I say? The universe will place people, strategically put people in your way to give you that self-doubt. You're then go into your soul at that point and say, but because if you were thinking about doing it, your energy is telling you to do it. You don't need anyone to tell you, because if somebody doesn't come, then that's you to fine tune yourself. Well, what do I need to do next then to do that? I do like little mini events where I go around and I sort of take a stand, and people come, mind, body and spirit events, and I go around and showcase what I do. And this is about my 6th one now. And every time I go back, I change something, because the only way I can fine tune what people need is by observing how they behave around my stand. Do they just, when I first started, they walk straight past. But when I did a talk, they all came. So I'm thinking, so it's not what I'm giving, it's what they're observing. And it was basically not enough information. So when they were walking past, they weren't actually seeing what it is that I did. I knew what I did, so I was putting up what I knew I did, but people who never met me before, who don't understand it, they didn't know what I was doing, so they just walked past my stand. Now I'm putting words that people can relate to, understand, and explain a little bit more just on posters, because when people are quite funny, they don't want to come in case that you're going to sell them something, you know, so you've got to allow them to coax, they've got to come in, their energy's got to come in by themselves. And so now I started changing it around, but I've only done that over time. It doesn't matter. I didn't go thinking, oh, what if nobody comes to my stand? At first, no one actually really did. You know, they kind of skirted the past. But it didn't stop me from carrying on, because I have to observe them now. What is it that they would need? So I started doing more talks, getting the vibrational feeling back from them. What is it that you need? What is it that makes you feel blah, blah, blah? And using that information to fine tune how I can get them to come to me. And that's what you do. Other people's energies are always going to try and sabotage, because there's a nation of, you know, don't you get so far ahead, because that you know, I need to be, you know, what about me? And you're going to go off, you're going to be so successful, you're going to forget about me, and insecurities. So people really aren't giving you information based on truth. They're giving you information based on, well, you know, I don't want you to succeed because I'm not where I am yet. You know what I mean? And so you've got to be mindful of that. And then the universe will collect those types of people in your situation and bring them to you, because they're trying to teach you a lesson. Those are not the type of people you need to be listening to. You need to listen to yourself, because you've got your own power within you. You can do those, whatever it is you want to do, because you've got that fantastic articulation within you. You can do that. But listening to other people, you're just going into your outer world and using your lesson in life, because you're going to find them. You're going to find everybody to tell you a doubtful thing, because that's what's going on in your outside world. Don't listen to them. But if you don't make it to how it should be, then you fine tune it yourself based on your observations from other people. They'll tell you. They don't even have to speak. They can tell you by the way they walk past. Where do their eyes get drawn to? Well, they're getting and she doesn't understand that one. I can tell by. You've got to become the observer. You see, you've got to become the observer of other people's behaviour, which then fine tunes what you need to be doing to put your life into perspective and your energy to work how it works for you. We've all got energy. And we've all got a different type of energy. And even those people who've got the exact same birth date as you, they will not be using the energy in the exact same way as you, because they won't have the same experiences as you that they need to experience.
Oh, interesting. So do you do also so basically, I just want to ask you, so do you do basically your reading and working with people to basically guiding them, or because
Yeah, this part of this reading here is always what I call your blueprint. This is what resets people. This is your energy where you're kind of not sure what you need to do. I tell you exactly what it is that you're born to do. You will resonate with it just like you did, because you're like, yeah, I do get that, but you may not have been using it to its fullest potential. So this really is about giving you the energy that you've been born with. What I then need to do, because it's all right giving somebody the energy that they're born with, but you've already also built in a lot of patterns, which is what I was saying, which are taking you, still carrying you away, because it will attach to a pattern like yours, or, you know, the self-doubt ones. The people are still going to come in. Every time you see that person, you'll be drawn to them, because the energy is going to take you there to try and teach you something. It's like, you know, when you've got to go to school, you know, if you want to go to the park, no, come on, we've got to take you to school, you know, so the energy is always going to pull you to that lesson. But when you get there, you've got to be saying, right, okay, I know this, so you don't need to tell me, because that's just put there as an energy. So after that, when I've gone through the energies and your blueprints, then people normally have a 6-week course for me to fine tune them and to get them to use that to its maximum. And I break everything down into segments, and I work on a little program that gives them the understanding. Because if you don't understand, you will not change. your energy to your benefit, or your patterns will just go back onto that. It will just resonate again on a path that it's always been used to. So that's where my work would come in on the group, on either groups, because I was going to start doing, again, I was going to do online courses, but I've changed my mind to do the online courses, because what I feel is I'm doing some one-to-ones, and I'm going to start doing some workshops, and then I'll do online courses. I was doing online courses because I've got everything written out and information there, but I just thought people still need a little bit more one-to-one coaching really before they can start tackling the full one-to-one full online courses. So yeah, so I've kind of rejigged myself to understand how I can be as most beneficial to people on a basis, because until that one individual just gets aligned with themselves fully, then they can't take on any further information, because you're not aligned. Where's the information going? You know, it's coming in, but it's getting lost somewhere because you're not aligned to it. So I've discovered that's what I need to do, is work on the individual one-to-ones first, then do some workshops, and then do some online courses that way.
That would be brilliant. You know, yeah, fantastic, really fantastic what you do. I am just, this is for me still very new, because like I said, I really started my journey last year, and I am all fascinated about this, you know, so yeah. No, it's good to that we've connected, you know. And actually really it's always interesting, because I'm like always asking, who is my next teacher, who is my next guider, and it's just like, it's interesting how people are coming to you, you know, like to guide you, you know, so it is very interesting.
Yeah, exactly, because that was the very first time I've actually used that group to post anything really. That the women's helping each other group that you've connected on, and I just thought, and when somebody said, oh, she said put what you would like, I thought, actually I would like these little videos, because now I'm getting out there, you know, I'm kind of working where I had a clinic and I was doing it, and it wasn't really getting out there. And the more people say, well, you need to go and do that, similar to you. I don't have that lack of confidence. I can do it. It doesn't bother me. If it doesn't work, I'll try another way around. That's just it's not my lesson in life. So yeah, so I thought, all right. And then I thought, well, what I need now is I need real life people to actually speak. So I'm getting lots of people write it, the reviews, and giving me 5 stars and things, but no one's actually seeing faces. And I thought, well, yeah, I'd like to see people now, actually, once I've done a reading for them, to just give me a few seconds, whatever, up to 60 seconds, to say, what did you get from it? How beneficial was it? You know, and make sure you put my name in it, and you know, and it's and the self-alignment thing on it. So that's what I was, and then when I put that on, there's the right people, I believe, have come through for me to do this free reading for. So yeah.
No, absolutely no. So I mean, we are recording this, so you can always use this for sure. I got my permission. So you know, for me, it was very informative, and because I am on this journey as well myself. So it's actually nice to see, like, for me, you are like a next step. You know, like, wow, you know, definitely, you know, like, I hope I'm gonna work with you or even learn from you. You know, like this quantum physics. I was even recently thinking as well, like, I would like to tap into this knowledge and what is there, and discover even more. So it's like when you started speaking in my ear, we're like, ding. I said, it's good to know someone. But lots of stuff which you said really aligned with me. So it's like, I heard this, you know, like my I don't know how to say, my soul was telling me all this, but because my lesson, the doubt, like I told you about the lady, she planted the seed, I think you need to still study. It's like, okay, so I just like kind of step back, and you're saying to me, no, your speaking this is your gift, this is your gift. And it's like, no, this is my gift, come on. I don't want to listen to someone, I really want to do it. So it's like really, how to say, it's like really lift me up again. Really gave me again energy that I really should follow, and listen my inner guides, my inner wisdom, you know, all this, my soul, you know, what she's like whispering constantly. It's just sometimes my ego is on my way, basically. So, you know, definitely very interesting. I love this kind of subject, and yeah, no, I mean, what else? I mean, definitely, I would recommend you to people. So yeah, we are recording, so I'm definitely recommending your amazing gifts to the world. I think, you know, we need more of people like that, because my passion is well to help people to get into your power, and this is exactly what you do. You know, you're really helping them to understand what they should be doing in life, because when we align with soul, it's nothing, I think it's nothing make you more feel happy and joyous and whole and complete than actually being in line with your spirit, with your soul, with your calling, with your energy, however you call this, you know. So definitely, you know, thank you very much for this session and for this opportunity to meeting you, definitely.
Oh, thank you. And thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
So, you know, I'm going to send you this recording, and then if you want to even use this, you know, like things for promoting yourself, like you have my permission, so you can use it, because I know how important it is, because I am on my journey as well, like promoting what I do, the Theta healing and coaching. So I know sometimes I do ask people as well, can you just give me a video testimonials, because it's really powerful. Because wording people read, and you know, but when you see the face, the body language, the energy around it, this is actually what call people is actually, I want to try that, you know. So it's very important.
It is, yeah. Oh, thank you. It is. It's a visual thing, isn't it? Definitely.
It's the energy for me. Like I know that it's the energy, you know, like how people really are after session with you. So
yeah, perfect, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carolina, and it was really, really a pleasure to actually speak with you. And I wish you every success. And hopefully we can keep in touch anyway. So you know, we've got a connection now. So anything that I can help with, I'm more than happy to try and give some advice every now and again if you need any. So yeah, let's keep in touch.
And same to you. If you need any help, maybe another video, proper maybe video testimonial or something, or if I can help you any way, then yeah, please just message me. I do believe in collaboration, and I believe to support each other, because I know that there is something magical is happening. So yeah, and I'm hoping also that definitely I will use your service when I kind of get back financially better, because at this moment I just need to find my first really client. But you know, I'm just definitely hoping that we will connect again.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon. Enjoy the rest of the. We're only on Wednesday. What are we on now? Tuesday? Yeah, we're only on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.